Hello everyone, Atkpwr here with a very special surprise. This is already the balance changes coming up in the new DLC and patch for Steel Division 2, Tribute to Normandy 44. If you guys love these, hit that like button, subscribe, and consider checking out that Patreon link down below, and check out Atkpwrgaming.com. Thank you to everyone who has or currently supports me financially. Really does help me out a lot. So thank you to the Strike team for getting us this information, and especially thank you to Colonel Koenig for putting this list together and sending it to me. Really appreciate it. Guys, a beast. Make sure you show him some love in the comments. He shows up pretty often. Make sure to check him out over on Twitter, X, whatever it's called now. So yeah, we already have what are a fairly good number of the balance changes. I'm sure there's going to be a couple we missed here because there's a lot. So it's not a surprise if the Strike team didn't remember one of them happened. But these are the major ones. They're specific to divisions. There's the generic ones, of course, and so on and so forth. So let's get right into these things. These are some big changes, guys. It's going to definitely shake up the meta. Not only the new divisions, but looking through all the new divisions, none of them are earth-shattering, at least on paper. Okay, so at least on paper, none of them feel like, oh my God, this division is so out of bounds broken that there's no chance. Some of them are very strong. Yes, definitely A tier, pushing towards S tier. Some they're S tier, but a lot of them are solid B tier. B tier, even a couple C tiers in there too. But yeah, I actually am really looking forward to it. It feels like this time they're trying to keep it within the bounds of not breaking the game again. But these changes are what we really care about because we're looking to fix the game as it is currently. So starting off generic here, traction speed decreased from 115 kilometers an hour to 100 kilometers an hour. This is beautiful. Traction rushes suck. I don't know anyone who really enjoys this happening to them. And for certain divisions, these are legitimately unstoppable. If you are playing any division with slower transports, the Finns, the Hungarians, the Bulgarians, any of those divisions that just aren't very fast, you have absolutely nothing to do against a traction rush. It's just a miserable, unfun experience that really is just gamey and not enjoyable. And I think this is an important nerf to French divisions, especially because the French divisions are actually these days really the ones that really get to take advantage of them. It hurts Feshung and Toulon as well, which it's not bad or good. They're solid divisions that needed neither nerf nor a buff, I would say. But the fact that this is going away is still a good thing. It's not like those divisions are bad now because of this. They just lose their cheese starts, which I think is fine. I don't think any division really needs to have hardcore cheese starts, and there are other cheese starts in the game. Armored car rush out of the Germans, yeah, cheese start, totally agree. But this is an easy one to knock all the partisan crap and the Flammenwerfer crap and all that kind of crap out. So yes, big thumbs up to this one. Snipers get extra aim time and rate of fire nerf. So I did mention this one. Snipers are going to take longer to get on target and they're going to fire a little bit slower. Now, this is not going to ruin snipers, okay? This is not like all two-man sniper teams are bad now or anything like that. Snipers are still going to be very effective. It's just not going to be this thing where a sniper versus a machine gun, the sniper always wins anymore. It's not going to be a thing where a sniper squad, a two-man sniper squad versus an infantry squad at range, the sniper's always going to win. It's gonna kind of shave off that upper crust of how good snipers are right now. But double snipers like the Takampoya and the Chechetade out of 4th Munta and stuff, those are still gonna be very strong. A double sniper is still gonna be devastating. It'll still one burst transports. It's still gonna be very good. So I don't think this is end of the road for snipers sort of thing. I just think it's gonna get it back into line and maybe nerf a couple of these newer divisions that just have snipers all over them in the most obnoxious way possible. Now, the big one that is the most game changing is the fallback nerf. The resilience from fallback decrease. So I'm pretty sure the number is 75 to 50%. So units, basically the Strike team was describing it as before, a unit gets shot and stuff, falls back, it was a 10-man squad, you're probably walking away with 7 or 8 guys. Even if a bomb falls on their head, a 500 kilogram bomb, you're still probably walking out of that bombing strike with 6, 7, 8 guys, depending on the cover they are in, which is ridiculous. We all agree that is absolutely insane. Now the guys will probably walk away with 3 or 4 dudes, depending again on the cover that they they are in. It also should breathe new life into basically every unit that is not soft, right? Every non-infantry-esque unit is getting a buff with this fallback nerf, and that includes, of course, most importantly, tanks. Their HE rounds should be a little bit more effective now shooting at falling back infantry, but that also includes machine guns. A big one too is planes with lighter bombs might actually be effective now. I'm still leaning towards probably not that great still, but they at least should do something. I still don't think big bombers with tons of 50-kilogram bombs is going to be like an amazing unit, but it should hopefully at least be all right now. I still think you're probably going to lead towards a bigger bomb loadout, generally speaking, but this is a fantastic change. This is hopefully going to move the game a little bit from the completely infantry focused meta to a more, you can actually play tanks efficiently. You can actually, kill infantry semi efficiently. I don't think we need to like totally blow away all infantry usage in the game by any stretch. The game is still based on infantry, but I do think tanks should be a fair bit more viable than they currently are, and this will definitely help. Our next general one here is the Bren. LMG accuracy increasing from 10 to 15%. Now, a lot of you noticed this in the videos that have been coming out. So this change, and I know some people are already like panicking about it, and some people are like, oh my god, Commonwealth to the moon, and I'd be the first one to shout Commonwealth OP, because I find Commonwealth divisions should just kind of be annoying. I don't know what it is about them. 17 pounders never miss against me, I guess. But this is a good change because Brens are awful and like kind of ahistorically bad to a point where it's just embarrassing how bad they're. And this accuracy increase puts them basically at a similar level to an FG42. Now everyone's like, well, that's fantastic. Here's the thing: FG42s on their own are not actually that insane. It's because of their inclusion in units that have a bunch of MGs that FG42s feel broken, because we're used to seeing them in Fallschirmjägers, and Fallschirmjägers come with MG42s and MG34s in multiples. So slapping some FG42s on those squads makes FG42s seem incredible. The thing is, FG42s are still pretty low rate of fire weapons. So the LMG, the Bren, is going to be very similar to that. It's going to do good damage. So like if you catch units out of cover with a Bren now, it will actually kill some units. The thing is, the suppression with it will still be pretty much underneath most other LMGs. So a rifles unit or a rifles Piat, which has 2 Brens, is still going to consistently lose to a Panzergrenadier at range. That's it. Like, it's going to get suppressed first. The suppression caused by the MG42 is going to be so much higher than the Bren that the Bren's accuracy drops and all the other things, kick into effect. And the Bren is not going to be nearly as deadly or scary as everyone's first assumption of this is. Because I did go to the strike team and specifically ask, like, has anyone actually tried this whole Bren thing? Like, do we just slap a number on this and like say, all right, we're buffing the Bren, there we go. And they said, yeah, no, it was tested. Yes, the Bren is better, but it is certainly not like, whoa, this is the greatest LMG in the game now. It's just now actually somewhat effective, and it's not like this embarrassing, ha 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 ha, the Bren is shooting at you and nothing happens. So a good change, honestly, because again, Brens are really bad. Making them not really bad is kind of important so that, those infantry can at least hold up. And this should breathe some new life into some of the weaker Commonwealth division, ones we don't see as often, such as 15 Scots as a good example. 8th Indian, I'd love to see get a little love. I do like that division. But I was told, like, even a Kangaroo rifle will still lose to a Panzergrenadier at range. So apparently, even with 3 Brens firing, you're still losing to a Panzergrenadier at range, which I think is a good spot. I think that's a reasonable thing for game balance. Okay, I don't need everyone hopping into the comments and tell me how great the Bren was historically. Great, wonderful. Okay, there is a realistic fact that this is still a game, and there still has to be some semblance of balance in the game. So then we have the MG15 LMG suppression rate of fire increased, same as a Hungarian LMG. So I forget what the MG15 is, but basically all of those are getting increased to the same as Hungarian I think those are Solothurns, I believe. So yeah, these are the big generic ones. These are pretty huge and definitely will change a lot of stuff. Of course, especially this one here. But this gets rid of a whole bunch of cheese in the game. Always a fan of getting rid of cheese in the game. This also decreases just an annoying out of whack thing that we feel from Men of Steel. This you know, should help a lot of different divisions out. Might put CIL really back on the map. Their quadruple Morrow. Maybe that thing's just gonna melt now. But we'll find out. So diving in here to specific things, the best Colonel Koenig could put together for me here. So U.S. and French divisions. The WC25 HMG price decreased from 10 to 15. So we're gonna see across the board here, guys, that they basically decreased the price of recon vehicles by a fairly significant margin. And not just, I shouldn't say recon vehicles. I'm talking recon vehicles that are not tanks, essentially. But even some tanks did see some decreases, but specifically recon vehicles, Jeeps, motorcycles, transporty things, just these sort of tossed on vehicles we see in a lot of recon tabs. They're getting pretty big buffs in price. So like you're not going to have 5-point motorbikes, 5-point Jeeps and things. Trying to basically entice you to use them. I still don't think they're usable because they just die. Like they die to 1 LMG burst from infantry. Their gun doesn't shoot until it's in range of infantry. They're just not great. Even when you get 6 of them at 5 points. And yeah, that's really making it like maybe they're worth it now, especially ones with radios, right? So like a 5-point radio that you can go wherever, that is pretty good. And I'm not going to say that's never usable. And honestly, this might finally be the price where it's like, maybe it's worth taking this unit now. The problem is a lot of recon tabs are really strained as it is. So putting in units that just like insta die is super hard to do. I feel like the only way you really ever get these units to be good is to increase their stealth to a point where they're only a step off of a 2-man infantry squad where they can almost sit out in the open and not be seen. I feel like that's the closest way, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. But anyway, continue on. M4A1 double vet curve improved from 246 to 369 double vetted. So when you double vet them, you'll have, instead of it being 246, you'll now get 3 in A phase, 6 in B phase, and 9 in C phase. Okay, that's cool. M4A1s are really not that good. They just aren't. They just really aren't that great of a tank. Yeah, they're great, again, as we always say, at killing soft targets. They absolutely kick butt at that. But in terms of, should this unit go all the way down to 2? No, they're kind of a spammy tank. You probably should be getting 369, but that's a pretty big buff all the same. That really, because M4A1s really slap a double vet, so you really want to be double vetting them, and this allows you to get that extra units in there. Pretty good. Stuart price decreased from 30 to 25 points. This is across the board, folks. I think this is pretty huge. I mean, Stuarts are not fantastic, but they were playable at 30 points. Like there was plenty of times you took a Stuart card at 30 points. Light tanks are, historically really good in this game. They're really cost efficient. Stuarts are definitely one of the weaker light tanks. They really struggle to kill most things. And the problem for them is their rate of fire is quite slow. But this and the recon Stuart also decreased from 35 to 30 points. This is pretty good. I mean, this is a pretty big buff to 3rd Armored. Even like some of the French divisions, this is a buff for. I would be hard-pressed not to take a card of Stuarts at 25 points. I'll be honest. Like, you can call in 2 at a time for 50 points. They can gang up on other light tanks and do pretty well. Again, not an incredible tank. I'm not saying this is like game-breaking or anything. I think now, like, all of a sudden, U.S. armored divisions are going to be absolutely, like, cracked. But this definitely makes a good argument for including at least a card in your deck for really easy response. Because again, they were playable at 30 points and now they really are playable. Continue on here. Task Force Butler, DBSAS, DFL, and Doty. So these obviously not out. Maquisard's price decreased from 25 to 20 points. That's a big buff. Wow, making a Molly unit to 20 points. I mean, that the biggest one that helps, obviously, is Task Force Butler, right? Because this is the weakest of these 3 by far. The other 3 probably needed no such buff at all, if we're being honest about it. Certainly not DFL, certainly not Doty. DBSAS, I'm just going to assume certainly not them either. So this is really, I feel like a help to Task Force Butler alone. Now, Maquisards did not feel very good at 25 points. I will admit that. They didn't feel like, whoa, this is a great unit. Anytime I used them, I was kind of like, this feels like I'm overpaying for this. The problem is, again, they don't really have a CQC loadout, and then they get a CQC grenade. That's the issue. And the difference, too, is Molotovs are not grenades. So, like, when you have a grenade, it's kind of like, oh, I'm just suiciding this squad and it dies, whatever, I'll move on. But the Molotov does not have that effect. So like you throw the Molotov, it kills 1 or 2 guys, and then your crappy rifles really don't put any suppression on the opponent, and the opponent just overwhelms you because they have an actual CQC unit. So I do get the change. I don't like the fact it's buffing these divisions that are already plenty strong as is. So another task for another across the board here. The FI leader loadout change Piat added. I mean, it's just another buff for them. Now they have a Piat. So now to the other fun stuff here. Airborne Task Force 101st and Doty AB rifles price increased from 25 to 30 points. We saw this in the 101st Airborne thing. This is a very important nerf. We also see glider rifles, which is almost the same unit, getting nerfed to 30 points as well. This is huge. This is a massive weakening of these very, very strong divisions. Will it make them not oppressive? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I mean, this is pretty huge because especially for like Airborne Task Force, they obviously really rely on these units to kind of keep pace with the opponent because their infantry is better at 25 points than basically every other infantry unit. And then there was bazookas slapped on absolutely everything at 25 points, which to me is kind of ridiculous. So this is a very good change. I don't know anyone who's going to be like, oh God, that's such crap. I'm sure other people like point to Forcemen and stuff, but Forcemen are expensive. Like you're paying for that. They're 35 points. Their availability is pretty low at this point. It's no shock that this happened. So it's Air Force and 101st AB Engineers price increased from 25 to 30 points, and AB Engineer availability decreased from 612 to 510. So 2 more digs at Airborne Task Force here, and unfortunately for 101st, this just includes them getting kicked in the balls too. There's no getting around the fact that they just are getting caught up in the fact that 1st Airborne was really strong, and now they get kind of kicked before they even exist. Then we have Airborne Task Force getting hit again. Forceman BAR, 1 vet availability decreased from 510 15 to 4812. So even an availability nerf here to the Forceman, I think that's very appropriate. They are a very strong squad. They're chunky, they're very strong, and this is a nice way just to hit Air Force, Airborne Task Force. Wow, another one here. AB Assault price increased from 25 to 30 points. Yeah, they're just absolutely kicking Airborne Task Force hard in the gonads here. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. I'm sure everyone right now is sitting with a big freaking smile on their face. Then we have 2nd U.S. Rangers price increase from 20 to 25 points is 100% appropriate. These things were absolutely insane at 20 points. They shredded every single thing in the woods. There was like no touching them as a 5-man unit. It was kind of insane. So very nice change here. 2nd U.S., 4th U.S., and DBSA. So 2 of these don't even exist yet. This one's the only one that's actually in the game. Hellcat price increase from 50 to 60 points. We saw this in the preview videos here. I mean, that's a pretty good price nerf. And there's no positive change to the Hellcat. It just is more expensive. It's not like it got stronger and they gave it more points. It just got, they just nerfed it. So I do agree with this. I think this is mostly aimed at 4th US and DBSAS as they're going to get like a bazillion cards of Hellcats, and the last thing we really want is a bazillion of these running around because they are really good in the pack, like annoyingly good, because the American APCR is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm happy to see this change as well. Hopping down into the Commonwealth here. Carrier 50 cal price decreased from 50 to 10. So this is that same thing we talked about, seeing recon units getting a price buff. Stuart Recce price 25 to 20. So this is even lower. So this is... No, wait, the Stuart Recce, isn't this the one without the turret, right? Whatever. It's just another buff for Stuarts. 15 Scott, CIABG. Churchill 4 price decreased from 50 to 45 points. Same 2 divisions. Churchill 6 price decreased from 50 to 45 points. I think it's fine. I mean, the Churchill, when you really think about it, in terms of armor and gun, the Churchill is a really underpriced tank. It's extremely efficient. The problem is, of course, when you throw in that speed issue, it's so cripplingly slow that even with the great stats it has for its price, otherwise, it feels terrible. Like it really does. Just the fact it takes so long to get to the map is problem 1. Problem 2 is, the real problem is that it takes so long for the tank to turn. It's so easy to get side shots on it. It's kind of comical how easy it is to find side armor on this thing. So I think this is a great change. Not that I want to say CIABG buffed in any way whatsoever, but I do think the Churchill is a unit that that could use it, specifically 15 Scots. Poor 15 Scots. CIBG, FFO Fusiliers availability decreased from 1224. Thank God. Finally. Okay, so finally the ridiculous 15 points, spam them till you drop them, Fusiliers and CIBG have been returned to a normal level of availability. I don't 100% understand why they were ever at this availability in the first place, but now they're finally at a reasonable availability. I am noticing, too, we're seeing a lot of infantry getting pushed down to 15 points. This scares me a little bit. 15 points used to be like a magical tier of infantry that the only ones allowed in there were absolute garbage infantry. Ersatztruppen. Whatever the Chernos, basically it was disheartened garbage was the only thing that was allowed to be 15 points. We're seeing a lot more units slip into that 15 point range here as Eugen tries to balance the fact that they've created some ridiculous infantry at 30 points. And the only way to make up for it is to make all the less good infantry in the game a little bit cheaper, because they don't want to push infantry up way into the tank tab of cost, right? Where Panzer III is already 40 points. And Panzer IIIs are great, right? We're seeing these Churchills at 45 points. We're seeing Stuarts at 20 points, 20 and 25 points. The infantry have to like stay within this 30, 20, 10 point range. So the problem is because they've made so many super strong infantry, the only way to really fix it, they can't really nerf those strong infantry up to 35, 40 points because that's a lot, right? You're basically buying a tank. Instead, they're just looking now and starting to say, okay, more infantry can kind of be 15 points. Not sure I love it. Not gonna lie, I'm not sure I love that direction, but I understand they've kind of boxed themselves into this corner here. Continuing down though, 15 Scott Honey Stuart price decreased from 25 to 20 points. So this Stuart, I think this has like one less machine gun or something, is only 20 points. I mean, you almost definitely have to take it. And then 15 Scott overall availability buff for some recon cars. Okay, cool. 15 Scott, God love them, they need it. Hopefully the Bren buff kind of allows this division to like survive and like exist again. Now coming into what everyone wants, the SSB nerfs. Look at them all. Oh, what a beautiful sight. Commando number 6 price increased from 30 to 35 points. Boom. Commando number 4 assault price increased from 20 to 25 points. Boom. Commando demo price increased from 25 to 30 points. Boom. Commando number 10 availability decreased from 612 to 610. Boom. SSB Hellcat price increased from 150 to 160 points. Boom! Morris LRC OP 127 Rocket BSRE off map increased from 180 to 190 points. Boom! And finally, Morris LRT OP 127 only fire mode. One fire mode is possible now. So like not the, you can't, I don't think you can use the infinity where it like literally goes for 10 minutes straight anymore. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, one thing I do want to notice they have not nerfed Commando. Commando is still the same ability. They have not nerfed the Commando trait at all. They're simply kind of messing with units that have the Commando ability. Either by increasing their price or decreasing their availability. Is that the right way to go? I don't know. I think it's up to you. But that is the direction it appears they decided to take, that they're not going to decrease the strength of the Commando trait. They're simply going to hit every unit that has Commando and kind of like mess with it. So yeah, massive nerf to SSB. We all love that. I know every single person will be happy with that. CIL, Maro Bren price increase from 30 to 35 points. This is definitely in response, of course, to the Bren buff. Same thing, CIL, Futueli Commander, price increased 30 to 35 points. So obviously CIL feeling really strong after this Bren buff. So that's definitely what we're seeing here. So big change here for the Commonwealth. Soviet division, let's see if they're going to get any love here. Avto availability decreased from 816.24 to 612.18. Wow, right off the bat, a nerf to the Soviets. That's what they needed. That's definitely what the Soviets needed, was a nerf. Yeah, nerf them down. Oh, no. Why? Why? Avtos didn't deserve this. I actually really like Avtos like currently because you get a bunch of them and they're okay now. Like they're a solid CQC unit. Oh no. Why have you done this, strike team? Whatever have the Avtos done to you? So, okay. I mean, it's kind of a bummer, not gonna lie. I was really kind of enjoying this whole like Soviets lean into CQC sort of thing where like they just slap in the woods and that's all they really do. And now they're kind of taking that away a little bit. Kind of a bummer. Honestly, I'm legitimately bummed. I'm not a huge fan of this change at all. SU-152 armor increase from 70 to 85 millimeters. Whatever. Okay. They still die to most things. Although I guess they survive 45 mils a little better, and then they just wipe them out anyway. SU-152 price increase from 70 to 85 points. Love that change. SU-152s are obnoxious AF. They get like an increased crit rate on them, and it's so annoying. Valentine price decrease from 50 to 45 points. Okay, cool. Kind of funny that this affects Soviet divisions and not Commonwealth divisions. It's kind of ironic because that's obviously a Commonwealth tank. Carry Adushka price decreased from 15 to 10 points. So this is basically, Adushka is basically a 50 cal. So a nice, like, if you want a 50 cal-esque unit for very cheap, that's there. Bazugli, P283 rocket plane availability increased from 124 to 24. Love that. That's just a straight up buff to these guys. They desperately need it. 7th SD, Mustad, get back their DP LMG. So way back in the day, this unit, the Mustard Men, had a DP machine gun. And they are getting it back now. Now, will this make this division good? Probably not. But does it make Mustad kind of usable? Mustard Men back on the menu. Boom. Get a hot dog for them. 7th SD and Viborg. Churchill price decreased. Okay, that's the same Churchill. Whatever. Armia Krayova here. Sapezi increased availability from 4 to 6 and A. Thank you. This unit is awful. Thank you for increasing it to 6 availability. It's absolutely, it makes 100% sense. This is good. This division desperately needs this. Moskaya Group and 9th Cav. Osna Sapari price decrease from 20 to 15 points. That's a nice buff there. 15-point Sapari. I mean, I'm pretty sure those guys toss grenades. So 15-point grenade tosser is pretty darn good. Then we have Moskaya Cherny Bushalati here. Price decrease from 25 to 20 points. It's another big buff. All right, Moskaya getting some love. First PLT, Strelky SVT price decreased from 20 to 52. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. So now this is a 15-point unit. Strelky SVT is strong for a 15-point unit. I'm going to say, I thought for 20 points it was pretty reasonably priced. For 15 points, it seems really good. Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously just for this division. Not every Strelky SVT is now becoming 15 points, but that's pretty good. First POT also gets a second card of SU-85. All right, this gives this division a little bit more long-range play, so maybe we see a little more of it? I don't know, we'll see. NOV, oh, poor good old NOV. Pack 38 price decreased from 40 to 35 points. Oh, okay, I see you. NOV 100 mil already decreased from 75 to 65 points. They're really trying. Without like really giving NOV something. They're trying to give NOV something. 9th Infantry, the IAR crappy plane decreased from 105 to 85 points. Good, this is good because that plane is not that great. So, okay, so some good changes here for Soviets. I'm not a fan of this at all. I'm a fan of everything but this. Just not a fan of that. I kind of liked it. This felt cool for Avtos. Unfortunate. Now over to the Axis side here. SPW 234 Puma, we saw this, folks. Price increased from 45 to 50 points, but base availability increased and APCR added to it. It's really strong. I thought they were decreasing the health of the Puma as well. I don't see this here, and it's possible it was missed, and it's possible that I'm just wrong. But I thought the Puma was getting a health decrease as well. But they're very strong now. The divisions with Pumas are seeing a huge increase here, and it's mostly these new Normandy divisions, but there are several in game. Panzerlehr and 11th SS getting a pretty big buff here with the Puma. I think overall this is a huge buff. The APCR, I don't think that's a huge deal because any unit that the Puma needs APCR to kill can one-shot a Puma. So, like, yeah, okay, now the Puma can fight them, but, like, are you really going to risk the Puma getting insta-killed just to get an APCR shot in, which isn't going to kill that tank at all? I mean, yeah, you probably still do, but that's risky now at 50 points again. But there's a lot of ability. You really have some vet ability now on this unit. The Atkpwr Panther D did get a price buff. I said this in an early video and everyone was like, you're nuts. I'm telling you, I knew it. Okay, it was 140 to 130 points now on the Panther D Recon. I would have taken, I took Panther D Recons at 140 points a lot of times, so this is a pretty big buff. Hopping down here, Panzer 4J getting a price decrease, so a buff here on the Panzer 4J to 70 points, right? Pretty great for Panzer 4s. SPO 221 PZ Buska here. Buksa, excuse me. So the Panzer Buksa here is going from 20 to 10 points. All right, that's pretty sick. Panzer IV-J availability increased from 6.12.18 to 6.12.24, so a little bit more C-phase love there. Nimrod getting an HP decrease from 10 to 8. That's a big deal, guys. That means Nimrods now get one-shotted by medium tanks. That's actually huge. And I actually think that's a good change. That's a really good change. Nimrods were a little too tanky. They're so powerful offensively that making them a little easier to pick off, I think, is completely reasonable. I can't tell you how many times, like, I hit a Nimrod or my Nimrod got hit and it got away, and it's just like, that's so frustrating, especially when a unit is that good. So I think this is the right way to nerf the Nimrod. Not to make it weaker, any weaker offensively, but to basically make it a little bit easier to kill. It's not even a little bit, it's pretty significantly easier to kill now. Medium tanks can just straight up kill this thing. So that's a pretty big change. So that means you can't just send Nimrods in to like 1v1 medium tanks all the time and like be really confident you're generally going to win. Now there's a good chance you lose before the Nimrod can land enough penetrations to kill. Pack 9738 price increase to 30 to 35 points. I love this unit. It's absolutely broken at 30 points, and this is a very appropriate change. This unit is very, very, very strong at 30 points with its heat shells. It's still really strong at 35 points, and I absolutely will still take it in every single division it is available. 5th Panzer getting a card of IG-33s and a second card of Grilla. Okay, they've turned 5th Panzer in the ultimate 2K Axis weapon. It's got like 6, I think it's the most in the game next to the new 1st Bro division and like 44 Strelky, just Infinity 2K HE. I guess that's 5th Panzer's new gimmick. Koruk, Shupo price decreased from 20 to 15 points. Koruk's back, everybody. Koruk is back. Brace yourselves for the hordes of Shupos coming at you. But remember, when they fall back, now they take more damage. So truthfully, disheartened infantry in general took a pretty big nerf with that fallback change. I think that was also part of the point of the fallback change as well. So, but Shupo now back on the menu, boys. Be careful. Koruk coming to a theater near you. 25th Panzergren. Oh, I love 25th. 2 Flakverling cards added. Yes. I love that. This division's AA sucked A. And now you have enough Flakverlings to fill the 2-slot AA tab. But seriously, no. You'll end up with 6 Flakverling, which is so much better than, you know, like 4 Flakverlings and 8 20 mils, like regular 20 mils. It's better. That's so much better. It's kind of hilarious. So really nice buff to 25th Panzergren without like doing too much to it. 12th SS, 1 AA slot removed for 1 infantry slot added. This is pretty big. 12th SS suffers hard on the lack of infantry. So nice buff to 12th SS here. 12th SS, 1 card of Jagdpanzer A0 added. So this A0 is the like what's the word? Prototype Jagdpanzer 4. So it's basically a lower armor Jagdpanzer 4. So it's good. It's not as good as a Jagdpanzer 4 because the joy of a Jagdpanzer 4 is its high armor. But it's still nice. So this is now in 12th SS. 52nd Sicherungs getting a buff here. Let Legionnaire price decrease from 2050. So we need to see another change of a 20-point infantry going to 15 points. Now, I think this unit should be 15 points. It only shows up in this not good division, and it's really not that good of an infantry unit. The 52nd, again, FK231, 75 mil price decrease from 50 to 40 points. I think this is our fast-firing little arty gun, so that's a pretty good buff. Coming down specifically, Fallschirmjäger divisions get their own category here because they're getting the balls kicked out of them so hard. The Fallschirmjäger 81 mortar, we saw this change. Range decrease from 3,600 to 1,800 meters. This is a really bad nerf. Like, this is a really painful nerf for these divisions. And just note, this only affects Fallschirmjäger divisions, not paratrooper divisions on the other side of the factions here. So this is like basically, that's the range of a 60 mil mortar. So basically you're getting the slow fire rate of an 81 mil mortar. You still get the radio, so it is still very accurate, but you only have 1,800 meters of range to work with, which is really hard. It's very possible you just won't be able to reach even like AA pieces in the back of the opponent's lines. So this is a very real nerf. There's really no bonus to this at all. They decreased the price 10 points. That's not making up for the fact you lost a ton of range on these things. Now they still will kill. Like, I mean, especially now that the range is now 1,800 meters. When you're in radio range, that freaking circle should be like this big. So it should kill stuff, but you're losing a lot. Like, it is a big nerf to Fallschirmjäger divisions, because you don't really have any arty to work with. Fallschirmjäger Pioneer loadout changed its loss as FG42, but for that loss, they're now only 25 points. Is that worth it? No, probably not. That's another big kick in the balls there. The Spätrupp loadout lost its FG42, whatever, those guys, stupid. The Führer lost its FG42, whatever. You didn't want your leader fighting 9 times out of 10 anyway. So ouch across the board here. Fourth Fallschirmjäger new unit named Fallschirmjäger Spätrupp Bren added. It's just probably some small like Spätrupp with a Bren. First Fallschirmjäger gets a card of Stug M42s. All right, that's cool. That's not the tank. That's the assault gun here. And then first Fallschirmjäger also gets a card of Stu 42s. Wow. That's a pretty big buff to first Fallschirmjäger. A lot of 2K out of here. I'm pretty sure this is the assault gun. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I don't think I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong. I don't know. They get a Stug M42 of some sort, which are great units. Whether it's the assault version or the tank version, this is a great unit. So big buff to first Fallschirmjäger, big nerf to everybody though, Fallschirmjäger wise. Probably, I don't think it knocks Fallschirmjäger divisions to like C tier or anything like that, but it may knock low A tier at best now. Maybe even B tier. Going down here, Hungarian divisions. Seeing a little smacking here. Sorry, I got to move my screen a little bit. Apologies. Hungarian, second Panzelos Motoloves 44M. This is the bazooka unit. Price increase to 20 to 25 points. 100% appropriate. There's no reason for a bazooka infantry unit that hauls around like even just a Solitherm, it doesn't matter, that has an LMG to be 20 points. Totally not, just totally out of whack. So yeah, this is a very good change. Fifth Cav. Fifth Cav, don't hurt them, please. IAR 81C BR 21 price decrease from 105 to 85 points. Yay, a buff. Not that I ever use this unit anyway, but yay, a buff to Fifth Cav. Munta Martyr 2 price decrease from 55 to 50 points. Okay, cool. Nice little buff, little teeny buff for Munta there. Finnish divisions, Yakari get shock trait. Rukma is back on the map, my Finnish friends. Rukma gets P283 rocket plane availability increased from 124 to 24. So Rukma has returned, more powerful than ever. I don't know if it's actually more powerful than ever, but it is back on the menu for real. Also, Pansari Divisiona also back on the menu. So Yakari now, let's see if they reclaim the crown as the ultimate spam Giga CQC infantry with their Swomies and Molotovs. Have they return to control every forest? Will Yapasa be king of the woods once again with his Yakari army? All right, guys. I mean, there's definitely some missing here. I'm pretty sure there's still a whole bunch more changes and things in specific divisions, but this is a massive list to start. So applause for the strike team for putting all this good stuff together for us. Thank you very much. Eugene, get this patch out. I still don't know when it's coming out, folks. Don't ask me. Okay, nobody knows except I don't even know if Eugene knows, to be honest with you. So yeah, really looking forward to this patch. It's going to be super exciting. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, consider checking out that Patreon link down below. Thanks a bunch, guys, and have a fantastic day.